everyone, back to the More YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day, and it's all about Newcastle United doing an investigation in the closed season about what on earth has gone on with the injuries at the club this season. That's the news doing the rounds, but the club apparently going to wait till the end of the season and perform an internal investigation as to what's going on with all these injuries. And do you know what? Bloody right. This has been the worst season I think I've ever known as a Newcastle fan for injuries. Not just injuries though, relapses of injuries as well. You know, players getting injured and then saying they're going to be out for a long time, and then they come back a lot quicker, and they break down again, and then they're out even longer. You know, you got players who are getting misdiagnosed ACL injuries. You know, even at the weekend, Jamal Lascelles clearly looked like he was fucked, and then he goes back onto the pitch. I don't get that either. I mean, I don't think this is just one department that gets the blame here. I think this is a collective blame amongst the whole club, even going down to Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall as well, because if your centre-half goes down and says, something ain't right, I felt something pop, you do not let him go back onto the pitch, guys. What the fuck is going on there? Have you learnt nothing from Joe Linton in the derby? He shouldn't have come back off the bench either. Who knows, Joe Linton might even be back in the fucking team now if he hadn't went back on the pitch against the Mackhams and done himself further damage. So this shit needs to get sorted, and sorted quick, because if you're going to sign players in the summer, they'll be looking at this football club saying, I don't want to go there in case I get a knock. These guys can't look after me properly. You know, the aftercare isn't there. If I get a bad, you know, ligament injury or a severe muscle tear, who's to say these fucking idiots playing a game of operation, man, with old buzzer, are going to make me even worse than I was when I got injured in the first place? So shit needs to change and get upgraded, lickety split. They got rid of the head of physio, I think it was, halfway through the season. You know, you got to look at the whole medical side of the club as well. What the hell is going on? You got to look at the communication channels between the medical side and the manager. Obviously, the Sven Botman one, some people think Eddie threw Botman under the bus wheels, but you're talking about a lad who's, 23, 24 years old, and he's telling you he doesn't want an operation. Sometimes as the manager, Eddie, you've got to say, well, do you know what, Sven? Sorry, mate, but you need an operation because I want you back towards the end of the season. I don't want you to do your career any more damage by playing on through an ACL injury and just hoping that it gets better. You know, these things need to change massively going into next season. I know we've had a lot of football with a relatively thin squad. Again, you can take it back to the summer and talk about the lack of investment. You know, the fact that we've still got a lot of the team or the squad members who are in the championship with us that just aren't good enough quality. It's okay to call on your squad depth when you've got decent quality in amongst the squad depth. You know, if your starting left back is absolutely superb, then under him you've got a decent one, and under him you've got an all right one, then you get away with that. But if you've got your centre half shooting at left back, you're not playing your young exciting left back you got in the summer, and then your next options, Matt Targett or Paul Dummett, who are probably both fucked because the wind blew too strong and their knees smashed into a million pieces, then that's not good either. So we really need to do some more due diligence with players as well with injury histories. I mean, I see all these links to Lloyd Kelly. Again, he's perpetually fucking knackered, so that worries me as well. So yeah, I'm not surprised the club are doing an internal investigation on this, but it really needs to get sorted, and some heads need to get smashed together, in my opinion, and someone needs to talk to the management setup as well, because as much as we're buzzing from the win against West Ham, and hopefully we'll get another one against Everton as well, Eddie Howe did not use the squad well enough in this injury crisis. He was playing players who were on their arse. Everybody could see it. Stevie Wonder could see players were on their arse, and that's how you pick up injuries. When you're fatigued, when you're tired, you get tears, you get pulls, you know, and pulls that become tears, and then they get worse and worse and worse. And players who are playing on with injections and things like that, they're just going to do themselves more damage in the long run, and that is not going to help the squad, and you end up with a player being out for fucking ages, which is what's happened to this football club on so many occasions this season. You name it: Callum Wilson, Jacob Murphy, Joe Linton, Nick Pope, you know, fucking Sven Botman. And these are key squad players who have just not been managed correctly, I don't think, behind the scenes. And I don't know what it is. I can't sit and throw blame at one person or another, because I don't know what the hell is going on behind the scenes of the club. None of us do. But you have to question, you know, the aftercare, the recovery processes of these players. Playing players too much is a clear indication, you know, that you're going to burn them out. I mean, you saw that. We had lads playing Champions League, Premier League, Carabao Cup games, the same 11 practically. You know, and of course you're going to burn them out, especially with the level of intensity that Eddie Howe plays. And then that's not a knock to Eddie Howe. I love the way Eddie Howe plays, but you cannot ask the same bloke to play that many games at that level of intensity in a week and not break down, especially when he's on the wrong side of 30. That just ain't going to work. So some big changes need to be made, I think, in the summer, not just with the medical facility side or the medical team, the physios, the doctors, but also Eddie Howe's mentality of how he uses the squad. Now, if he has to increase the quality, then he has to increase the quality of the squad, and it might mean getting rid of some players that he's very affectionately, loyal to, players that have done a good job for him. But you know what? The job is done. It's time to move them on and buy better. You don't have to spend massive copious amounts of money to improve them either. You got the likes of Alex Murphy. Can he do a better job than Paul Dummett? Maybe he can, but we don't know because we haven't seen him. But yeah, I'm not surprised the club's doing an investigation. I'm really happy to hear this, and I hope that they get their shit sorted for next season, because we cannot have another injury-ravaged season like this next season, or that could be us absolutely ruined in the Premier League. Let us know in the comments below what you guys think about this. Where do you think the blame lies with these injuries and these relapses? Is it the medical team? Is it Eddie Howe himself? Love to hear your comments. Let us know. Smash like as well. Help the channel grow. Subscribe. Help us get to 7K. We'll be back soon. More content. Have a cracking day wherever you are, everyone. We'll see you later. Cheers.